Top of the day, everybody. Um, I know it's been a while, you know, and but sometimes when life is life and you have to attend to it. Otherwise, it that molehill can become a mountain, right? BDB, how you feeling? How you living? What up, Nine? So when those situations occur, you must attend to it, right? So while life is life, and we have to understand that situations are going to occur, and like I said, you must attend to it. But today, I want to talk about Santina. I see you up there. Good morning, Nine. Good morning. Top of the AM. But today, I want to talk about spiritual love, spiritual pain. Excuse me, not spiritual love, spiritual pain, right? Because I know a lot of people have been, you know, going through things. You know, a lot of people go through physical. A lot of people go through the emotional, but the spiritual pain, is something that I look upon because me being a person that knows that spirituality is a thing and it can get you certain places. I just want to like dive in. Riaz, good after, yeah, good. Damn, what you supposed to say? Good evening, Riaz, because you were on the other side of the pond. Welcome in, welcome in. So I just want to just touch on the spiritual pains and what it is and how it does affect people, right? So just from this little quick look at a thing, right? Spiritual pain refers to the emotional and psychological suffering linked to sense of purpose or connection to something greater, often manifesting as feelings of emptiness, loss, or existential distress, right? So they ask, what is spiritual pain? Spiritual pain is a profound form of suffering that arises from a crisis of faith, loss of meaning, or disconnection from one's core values and belief. It can manifest in various ways, and the list is there. Like for me, I can speak for myself. Uh, Even though I didn't have, a spiritual concept at the time, most of you have already known that, I've lost my I lost my parents as a teenager, right? So you go into a deep pain as, okay, what do I do next? What is my purpose? How do I overcome this? How do I get myself together and become the person that my parents wanted me to be, right? And it's not a overnight thing, right? It's not like the biblical aspect of when Saul was on the road to Damascus. He saw the bright light and it changed him and made him the person that the Bible portrays him to be later on, which led him to change his name and so on and so forth. Right? You have to have a whole you have to have a whole inner cleansing in order for that to occur, right? But when I was at that age, I didn't even know I had a I didn't even know I had a inner anything. I didn't even think about inner spirits or inner emotions, right? They just all came and overwhelmed me, right? It overwhelmed me like, oh my God, I don't have my mother. Oh my God, I don't have my father, right? Even if my father wasn't in the picture of having a hand in my upbringing before his uh demise, you sitting there like, okay, I don't even know what to do going forward, right? Because moms are always going to be the ones that's going to show you the love that you learn from, right? Mom going to make sure she cleans the wound if you fall down. She's going to teach you, your ABCs before school does. She's going to teach you certain things before you even become a social child, as far as going to school, going to the school buildings, so on and so forth. But the spiritual side, was, you know, it starts from there. It starts from home. It starts from your first teacher, right? And like I said, my mom was that. So now, not thinking that I was, well, not knowing that I wasn't ready to go out there, because it was still so many questions to ask. It was still so many things to converse about. Um, you don't have that, well, I'm ready to step out in the world. But for me, it comes to it comes to a spirituality, because my mom was 13. Or, oh, excuse me, I was 13 when I lost my mom, right? So now, if I put it into a spiritual situation, I would, not to say that I am Jesus, but we understand that Jesus disappears around that same age, that same time frame of 13, where there's nothing written about him for the next 16 to 17 years, right? So when we have that understanding that you have to go ahead and find yourself, you really understand that, um you have to understand that that teenage year is the teenage years is when you start to develop, you know, your spiritual, your emotional, even your physical concepts of life, right? Because, you know, you're a teen. Like, you know, most people think when you're a teen, you know, for most young men, they start to get mustaches and growing facial hairs. You know, not to be crazy, but you know, hair grows everywhere for some men, and vice versa for females. It grows in their spots as well. So we understand the physical side. You know what I'm saying? But the emotional and excuse me, the spiritual side is, there's something that's in you that's constantly talking to you. It's something like, oh, you know, not your conscience, you know, because I believe, I know that your conscience is your first creature, but is a connection between that conscience and your spirit, right? But in between all that, the development begins there, right? And with nobody able to sit there and allow you to ask the questions, why is my inner thoughts talking to me? Why is something that I can't, that that's not verbalized in vocally, like real life, is something speaking to you from within you. These are the things that we have to go through, as you know, as we grow up in the teenage years. So, you know, when that situation happened for me, I'm like, yo, I was kind of lost, you know. But you know, they always say, be thankful of the praying grandparent. And for me, I could always lean on my grandmother, and she would explain as best as she could of what was being spoken to me or how it was being spoken to me. But because religion is a gatekeeper in my assessment, it was, I had to go and do some more research, right? Because you know, when you understand, you must seek the creator in spirit and in truth. You understand that there's a lot of things that may not be vocally spoken, but it's going to be spoken to your spirit. And because of that, I had to learn, you know, not just reading of the Bible, but staying away from you know, pulpits and churches, because at the end of the day, when you're in a connection, when you're trying to allow your spirit to begin this process of growth, you have to stay away from distractions. And sometimes, you know, religion is a distraction. Why? Because they can only give you certain things, while your spirit can translate what the scripture is saying to you in a free flowing manner, right? There's no, well, we're going to restrict it. It's whatever's being taught to you is either going to resonate in your spirit or it isn't, right? So that's when you start to ask more questions. That's when you start to grow. That's when these things happen, right? But we also understand that the the anxiety of you wanting to learn can become a a distraction to what's going on. Because anxieties, most people may say anxiety leads to fear. And, with fear, fear is also a gatekeeper because as long as you fear something, you're not going to be willing to try it. You're not going to be able to try that roller coaster if you are afraid of heights. You're not going to get on that plane because you are afraid of heights, right? Um, you're afraid that the plane's going, whatever, the plane might crash and so on and so forth because you have heard so many negative things about it that you are afraid that your spirit is not going to grow because of all the negative things that comes behind it. But it's up to you to understand that spiritual pain, there's a relief to the spiritual pain. You have to understand that the more that you continue to actively seek what you need your spirit to be fed, it will become no longer a fear, but it will make you more diverse in wanting to seek more information about, the spiritual side of you. And I get it. A lot of people, my 33 brother, what up, though? You know what I'm saying? So even with that, right, you have to understand it takes time because we know that Rome wasn't built in a day. And that's how it is in most people's lives. Like I said, you may not be, even with, like I said, if you go to the religious side of it, even if you, when Saul had that situation, it took him weeks to overcome the fear of what he actually was, what he perceived to be his situation. He was blind. He had to get his vision back, so on and so forth. And once that reality came, once that understanding of the spiritual aspect was was connected to his spirit, that's why he changed his name to Paul. That's why he went on out there and and tried to amend for killing all of these people that were understanding of what the Christ was doing on his time of existence, right? So when you go through those situations, you have to overcome the fear, the worriness, and things like that. And I know for a lot of us, because we don't have the patience to go through, you know, the situations, we go through the trauma of, well, I asked God to do something and it didn't occur. That's because you don't have the understanding that with your growth, it takes time for the development to occur. And because we don't have that time, we think we don't have the time. That's when we start disregarding, the spiritual side. I don't believe in God because He didn't answer my prayer, or I didn't believe in God because He didn't turn my illness into a healthy situation for me. But when you truly understand that, everything is not meant for the right now. The prayer may not be meant for right now. You understand that God is going, the Creator is going to be on time, and it's not always your time that He's going to come through with. It's going to be the time that is fit for you to understand why it took that time in the first place. I know there was a lot of mumbo jumbo in that sentence, but you have to understand that it's about timing. It's not always about our best timing. We need $1 million right now. Well, God ain't real because He didn't send me $1 million, but He's going to put you in the situation to where the growth of your spirit is going to allow you to see that there's an avenue for you to get that $1 million. But because we are who we are in the flesh, that's what makes our spiritual pains even more uh existing, because we looking for a right now type of thing. There's always going to be a disconnection, right? Because in order for us to connect, we must start from the disconnection area in the first place. Whether I have faith, like for example, if I say I have faith in my 33 brother, right? I say, yo, you know what? I don't care what happens. If I call him and we have a conversation, this conversation is going to be on point, right? Even if I disagree with it, I think it's going to be on point. So the spiritual side of that is telling me, yo, listen, go ahead and call him, reach out to him, because he's going to have something for you that's going to help you elevate to understanding that many people can't give you. And if he's busy with his real life, well, if he's busy with his family and loved ones, I have to respect that. It doesn't mean that he does not exist. It just means that life is lifing on his side as well. That doesn't give me the right to say, you know what, because my 33 brother did not reach out to me, he I'm cutting him off. I don't have no faith in him. I don't have our connection is dissolving because of that. We have to have the patience to understand that we all go through those spiritual aspects, those spiritual concepts, to where there's going to be a blockage, whether it's time, whether it's family dynamics, whether it's you just having a disconnect from whatever. Your your spiritual side is not to dwell in the pain of not knowing or not being available to connect with it. We just have to have the patience, because in spirit and in truth, you must understand that all things is a season for everything. It's a season for happiness. It's a season for uh, sadness. It's a season of gain. Is a season of loss. So you have to become adverse in your spirit to overcome those lukewarm situations. You have to understand that you have to overcome this, because if you don't overcome this pain can become a trauma in your life, right? Like, a lot of people feel like they have to go to the building to gain the spiritual side of it, and you don't. You can go into your That's why people need to understand you have to have your private time in order to feed your spirit what it needs to digest, in order for the hunger to be quenched inside of you, right? A lot of the times we look outside of us and take things for what it is and think we're feeding our spirit. We are feeding our spirit, but we could be feeding the junk food instead of the nourishing food that is supposed to be inside of us. So it's all about the timing of a situation. You can't feel you're gonna feel disconnected because of you may not be able to reach your spirit, your spiritual aspect in a timely manner that you need to, but at the same time, it could be a test to see if you are wavering in your spirit because you ain't getting it when you feel that you need it. You see what I'm saying? And the hopelessness comes in because it may take a month, 6 months, a year, that type. It can occur for certain people, and for me it took me many years to get over the fact that you know I didn't understand why my spirit was so down in the dumps after I lost my parents. But then comes the awakening or the renewing of your spirit when something just clicks inside of you. Say, wait a minute, now I understand. Something occurs to, well, if I keep doing what mom would want me to do, there will be a understanding and a meaning down the line. But nobody thinks that way when you don't have that disconnect in the first place. You have the hopelessness because you're not understanding what the purpose of your life is. And that's why a lot of people just say, you know what, screw my spirit. I'ma just live in the flesh. I'ma live in the ways of the world. And as long as you stay in the ways of the world, it's the opposite of feeding your spirit, because you so focused on what's going on outside of you that inside of you is becoming a dark hole, or dare I say, like a bottomless pit, meaning you could just throw a whole bunch of nothing in there and you could just keep sending it and sending it and sending it, and it ain't doing nothing. So you seeking more of the nonsense than seeking the spiritual truth, the awakening that connects your spirit, your mind, and your soul, and makes that your trinity. That you're not even thinking about that, because the ways of the world is telling you, listen, I got to get up, I got to go to work, I got to have a 9 to 5, I got to do this, I got to do that. It's telling you to delete everything that's within you and focus on everything that's outside of you, And that's where a lot of us are at today. And that's why we have a loss of focus. That's why we have hopelessness. That's why we don't believe in higher powers. That's why, I feel that's where, the atheist concept comes in, because they want they not getting the spiritual feeding that they need, so they disregard everything. And I don't believe in a higher power because of I never received a thing from them. And and they think it's always a voice, but it could be the placement of a situation. You could be placed in a situation that could feed your spirit. It's not always a talking. It's not always a verbal spiritual conversation. It could be you being in the right place at the right time that can feed your spirit. But because we are in so much pain, we don't know that remedy of relieving that pain could be right in front of us, whether it's talking to somebody, talking to a stranger, or whomever. But if you don't have that concept, if you don't have that understanding, you will be in a spiritual pain, which will lead you down the line of spiritual trauma, because the emotions that kicks in, like I'm not getting no answers, uh I'm about to say, screw it, bunk it, uh those things do exist, right? And then when you add the physical stuff into your real life, you know what I'm saying? Like, somebody, like I said, the loss of a parent, somebody was physically touched, or somebody was emotionally abused. You see what I'm saying? All of those things could weigh so hard on your spiritual pain, because you embrace that much more than trying to find the solution of how to get away from it spiritually, because it's so heavy on your heart, it's so heavy on your mind, it's so heavy on your spirit, that you ain't trying to overcome said situation. And that's the trauma that'll lead you into a spiritual pain as well. So there's so many ways that we end up spiritually hurt, um, that we have to figure out what is the best solution, right? Some people might say, well, if you just go to church. I don't believe in that, because there's so many, like I said, I believe religion, it get they give you words, and they take it and not put it into the context that it needs to be given to you for it to become a remedy for you. So that's not the answer. That's why, if you are doing things in spirit and in truth, you got to do the work, right? It doesn't matter if the pastor or the evangelist or whomever, the bishop, is telling you the thing to do. It has to resonate within you to overcome that pain in your spirit, right? If I sit there and tell somebody, you know what, you got to pray, right? Well, what's the reason for praying? You praying to get out of a situation. You praying to get away from that doom and gloom. But even in the prayer, there's a remedy within the prayer that's going to be given to you, that you must follow in order for it to stop the pain that's going on inside of you. That stops the pain that's going on in your spirit, right? The one thing it said, one thing that was I received in my situation was, you know what? I know you going through something, but your little brother is going through something as well. Take care of him, look at him, observe him, and you'll understand that you have to find a way to get through this pain. And if you don't, not only are you in trouble, but your brother's in trouble. And I'm like, wait a minute, how could that, like, I'm not old enough. Like, you start to doubt yourself. Like, I'm not old enough to be able to overcome myself, and let alone my little brother, 10, 11 years old, right? But you do it. Why? Because there's something that's in you that's telling you, listen, just do it, and see where it gets you. Just like there's a negative side that's talking to you, there's a positive side that's talking to you. There has to be a result one way or another. But if you keep leaning on that pain, it's going to swallow up the positive. But you want to lean on that positive result, because it can help you understand why the negative side is that valuable. Because if you fall on the negative side, your positiveness ain't coming through. If you fall on the negative side, you're just going to be a negative person. But if you understand the balance of why you need spirituality in its totality, the pain can be relieved in a way that other people may not understand. Morning, or good afternoon, logical thinker. So you have to understand why the spiritual aspect is one of the most important parts to you, because the inner you could affect the outer you. Like if you have that glow, the glow comes from within you. It's not because the sun is just shining on you. Because what if it's nighttime and you still have a glow to you? You understand what I'm saying? So those are the things that you must overcome. You must overcome that spiritual pain, because if you just have a darkness about you, well, somebody could say, well, what's wrong? What's wrong? Word. What's wrong? Logical thinker. What's wrong, young Riaz? Because there's a darkness that's coming from in you that's being shined outside of you. That's the balance of what spirituality really is. But as long as you in pain, we can sit there and say, what's holding you back? What's keeping you in your state of down downness, right? You can look at that when you understand. That's why a lot of people say try the spirit and see if the spirit is of, well, the religion side is going to say to try the spirit and see if the spirit is of God. But if you try the spirit and the spirit is truth, right? It's more okay. I can see why. I understand why you going down. I can understand why you feel like there is no the answer for you. But my job is to say, you know what, I must overcome that downtime, because if I don't, I feel like I'm not productive. Like for me personally, I felt the type of way. My spirit was down because I didn't even come on here to give a what I'm thankful for this year. Now the past year before that, I was like, I would do what I'm thankful for. Why? Because I felt that I have to be something, an example, a light for somebody that doesn't celebrate that holiday, right? And I felt kind of off, but at the same time, my spirit is telling me, listen, it's okay if you didn't do it this particular time, because the way you are, the person that you have become, it has shown that you are a caring person. Most people will forgive you, but I'm so busy worrying about helping those that don't really want the help, that it became a bothersome to me, not a pain, but a bothersome. Like, damn, I felt like if I let those people down. But I'm saying to myself, no, because anybody that truly understands me as a person knows I'm not there for a reason, right? I'm not on point for a reason. Something has occurred in order for me not to be there. But even when you have those good spiritual those spiritual situations, there's something always lurking behind you to make sure, hey, listen, yeah, I told you, like there's always going to be a battle within you, right? Word calls it a jihad because it's a fight, right? Because one wants to overtake the other. But if you have that beautiful balance that keeps everything stable, you could be able to control that. But because of the traumas in life, we more focus on the spiritual pains. Well, God ain't come through for me. God ain't real, because I asked him to appear and he didn't appear, right? Maritza, how you feeling? Good afternoon. Right when those situations occur, there's a bothersome within you that you don't even have to speak on it. When a spiritual person comes around you, they can sense it, they can see it themselves. Many people might call that the third eye, or whatever. It's just something that when you are in your spiritual realm, you can see, like, yo, this person is hurting. What's wrong? You know what I mean? Logical thinker, what's wrong? I see that you're going through something. How do you know? I could just see it. I can't describe it, but I can see it, right? But because of those pains that you go through, yeah, and that's the problem, right? They want their answers right now. They think this is Aladdin. It's not Aladdin. It takes time for you to be in position to get your spiritual aspect in order, right? If you turn around, like, you know what, God, I just want somebody to love me, right? And God put you in a place to where, um, let me see if you love yourself, right? Then you get mad because you don't see that you don't even love yourself enough for somebody to love you. Then, all right, that's why God's not real, because he ain't answer my prayer. But guess what? Your spiritual prayer was answered. You just don't like the answer that was given to you. And that puts you more into a deeper depression, a deeper state of doom and gloom, because it's not what you want. But because we live in so much in a place of want, we don't get to see what the spirit needs, and we just bypass the needs and turn our wants into needs, instead of the needs being exactly what it is, a necessity in order for you to understand how to get away from that spiritual pain, right? Like I said, I could be one that say, you know what, man, I don't believe in none of this, man. God has started me doing all this crazy stuff when I was a teenager, this, that, and the third. But now I come to the understanding, not because I got older, but because through the years, you start to see things in a different perspective. Your spiritual awakening does occur. There's nothing new under the sun. That's what the Bible says. So you have to understand, it's just new to you because you closed your mind to it. You closed your spirit to the revelation of what was already been given to you. Because everything, and when I say everything, I mean this, everything that you need to survive is within you. And that includes your spiritual aspects of life. It's already been given to you. And once it's been given to you, it's up to you to understand how to activate that gift to overcome the spiritual pain that you're going through. Right? It's not always, it's great to have the aspect of people outside of you coming to your aid, coming to your rescue. But it's also you understanding that, yo, something's not sitting right in my spirit. How do I overcome this? Okay, let's find the problem. That you have to find this. You have to find the solution to how to overcome your spiritual pain. It's not supposed to come from outside of you. You must first recognize it inside of you. And when it's seen by somebody, okay, you going through depression. Okay, let me try to come to your aid of how to overcome this depression, uh, the traumas of life. Let me show you that that's not the only thing in life that is available to you, right? Whether it's emotional abuse, physical abuse, whatever. You must understand that your spirit is going to try to, if it's on point, it's going to try to give you a way out. But because we are so traumatized, we are so hurt, we are so much in a spiritual pain that we don't see the other side. We only see the side that's right in front of us. In that particular case, the grass would be greener on the other side, because if you just sit in that dull grass, you ain't gonna be able to not only see if that grass is greener, but you ain't gonna try to go over there because you so used to that dull grass. You're not gonna want to cross that river and see if that grass is best for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's just so much that we go through. It's similar to someone who speaks French trying to communicate with someone speaking Arabic. Most can't communicate with God because they know the language of spirit totally meant to go over their heads. And that's the thing that we have to understand. Because what you hear in your spirit may not be it may not be a language of understanding. That's when religion says speaking in tongue, they speak in tongue literally, but your spirit is whatever is being told to your spirit is gonna resonate. Like, oh, I understood what he just said. What did he just say? He said, "Peace be still, and take your time and do A, B, and C." I didn't know that, but yeah, but you have to be in tune with it. Your spirit You must continue to work on your spirit, because if your spirit is in pain, it's not going to understand that that's the remedy to get it from the pain, for it to be healed. And a lot of people just want to cure things, but that's another conversation. For There's a difference between curing and healing, right? People just want the cure for that moment, but you should want the healing of your spirit to be long lasting. That way you don't have to depend on that spiritual aspirin when you know what the root of the problem is, holding your spirit back from the joy that it needs in the first place. But like I said, that's another conversation. Um, yeah, I agree with that, right? And that's what I'm saying. And when you have those type of situations, you know what I mean? The emotions and things like that. It all is, that's the thing. When you have those emotional situations, now to decide whether that's a spiritual thing that's going, or is that just touching your soul, that's another conversation. But you must understand that emotions could trigger your spirits in the first place. If you feel like there's a joy on the other side of that spiritual pain, I suggest that you seek it. Seek it and you shall find it. Knock and the door shall be open. All of those things were spiritual things, not just the physical. It doesn't mean that you knock on an actual door and the door is going to open. No, you got to make sure that that door is ajar in your spirit for you to understand what is being said to you. That's why I said earlier, those who have ears, let the spirit listen to what the spirit is telling you. I'm paraphrasing, that's not the actual quote. But what I'm saying is, you have to understand, when you're going through those spiritual pains, there's going to be a lot of closed doors, because there's something in you that may not want you to be healed spiritually, right? And as long as you feel like you keep feeding from the outside the doom and gloom of I keep thinking about what happened to me. I keep thinking that my mama's gone. I keep thinking that my father's gone. I will never heal, because I'm just focused on what happened instead of focusing on how to get away from that situation and find a way to not make that the end all be all, right? If somebody bust you in your head, if you keep focusing on your head is hurting, you're not going to understand it's how to heal that part, because you only focus that I only got hit in the head. You know what I'm saying? It's those situations that keep you dwelling in your doom and gloom spirit. It's those situations that keep you in the spiritual pain. As much as so many people could always want the best for your spirit, but if you don't want it, what's the purpose? What's the point? And that's how it is on the outside. I want the best for you. But if you don't want it, why how could I want something more than you? How could you not want your spirit to be in a free zone of no pain if you're not seeking it? And these are the things that we have to focus on, think about as we get older. Not even older, as we become more mature, because maturity is not within an age limit. You can mature early, you can mature late. So even when they tell you an old dog can't learn new tricks, that's the physical side of it. The spiritual side is, an old dog can always learn something if he's willing to open up his spirit, in this case, or their mind in another case. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up, Riaz. And you still have elevation to go. Just because your throat is, you got to good up, you got to elevate more to the crown, right? You almost there, but you got to keep seeking that understanding from the spiritual side of things. You can't say that too loud, Riaz, because a lot of people may not say that Allah is not, Allah doesn't understand what you're talking about, and that's what I'm saying about religion. Religion always, it always hold you back from certain things. Like they'll tell you, this ain't no good for you. Numerology ain't no good for you. Astrology ain't no good for you. But now they putting little scripture things on a card for you to open it and read it. That's the same thing as a damn tarot card to me. What's the difference, right? And because they don't want you to understand that there's so much room for your spirit to grow, they only want you to follow what the religion telling you to follow. That's the spiritual pain that a lot of people are going through, because religion is only here to gatekeep from, and this is how I feel, right? Well, that people will say that's emotion. I don't want to say that's what I can say that's what I know because I've been through it, right? Because if you ask questions, the first thing they tell you is don't question God. But that's not what the scripture says. The scripture shows you people constantly question God and nothing happened to them. Job questioned God, Moses questioned God, uh 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 all of the prophets, most of the prophets questioned God because they didn't understand. I need understanding. God, help me to understand. And that's when the spirit gets fed because you're asking questions. A closed mouth don't be a closed mouth can't be fed. So a closed spirit can't be fed either. Then because if you in so much pain, you don't want to eat. I don't know. I don't care. I'm just. I don't feel like getting. Your spirit is lying down. When it's time for your spirit to rise up, it's going to ask all the questions. How can I do this? What do I need to do? This, that, and the third. I understand that. I can speak to a Muslim now. I can speak to a Buddhist now. Why? Because it's not about the religion. It's about the spirit. The spirit is so illuminated. It's so wide open that you can seek and speak and talk to different people and have an understanding of them in a different light to where you ain't chastising them because it's a religion. You speak it to them because that spiritual pain has been removed from you. You're not looking from the aspect of, well, Jesus is better than Muhammad and Jesus is better than Buddha. No, you see that peace that spirit is seeking is something that you can relate to. And when it's relatable, it makes for a beautiful conversation. That's why you must worship in spirit and truth. That's why you must seek your spirit instead of the ways of the world. You know what I'm saying? And when that happens, it's like, yo, that's absolutely crazy. Because when you see that, it's like it's a beautiful thing. When you get it to a level of understanding, you won't need to question God. You'll finally understand that everything happens in God understand. The only thing I will not disagree. The only thing I will say is because you understand that there's so much to know, logical thinker, you're gonna God, is there more? Is there more for me to understand? Is there more for me to learn? Is it more for me to digest in the spirit? It's not telling you to eat the actual word, it's telling your spirit to eat the word so it could resonate within you. Now you can understand why somebody who feels that they have the Holy Spirit is going to do what they do. But now you have to sit there and observe them because when the fire starts to come down, how are they going to resonate? How are they going to find it? Are they going to lean on that actual man that's doing this from a manly position, or are they understanding that there's a spiritual aspect that you must seek and desire? This is why I tell people that you should fast. And if you fast, you understand you're not sacrificing. You're investing in your spiritual aspect to by eliminating your physical aspect, meaning you putting away the worldly things to understand that the spirit needs to be fed, and when it's fed, it gives you a better understanding and a better vision. It actually opens your physical eyes as well as your spiritual eye because everything starts from within you. You see what I'm saying? So when you go through that situation, it's like, all right, I get it, right? I can understand Riaz, right? I can understand why Ramadan is important to him. And I always tell Riaz every year he's fasting for Ramadan. Just allow Allah to make sure, just to see what Allah has in store for you. Because if you fasting in vain, it's a waste of your time. If you still in pain after the fast, something is wrong, right? And this is how people have to grow and develop and become the person, the individual that they need to be, because it starts from inside out. That's what words, he's been saying it for his whole time. I've been around him for the past year and a half, 2 years. But before that, he was doing the same aspect. So he has a different perspective than I would because he's been doing this longer. He's been speaking about this longer. So he has a different view than I would. because it's not about, elevation of spiritual, like which spirit is high. It's not about that. It's about understanding that that person is seeking their soul salvation, not in fear and trembling, but just to understand that the soul and salvation, the soul needs to be fed in order to connect to the spirits, and then, and allows that trinity to occur in the first place. Your trinity is your mind, your soul, your spirit. The body, it does exist, but it all exists within those three entities. That all of those three things, it feeds your body to become the person, or the representation of the temple that God is dwelling within you. Because if you understand you are the church, the spirit must dwell in you in the first place. But as long as you in pain, you wouldn't understand that. You just living. And that's what people have to understand. If you don't understand that part, then you know what I mean. It's like, all right, I'm just doing this for nothing. I'm just alive. I'm just here. I'm just present, and that's not something that you need to go through existence with. As long as you are, trying to find yourself in your spiritual aspect. If you just keep living, you just living to see another day. But what's your purpose? What is your purpose of just living just to see tomorrow? What's your goal? Right? You don't have a goal, then you just, all right, I'm just gonna wake up and go to work. That's your goal. Okay, well, that's a that's some people's reality. But the reality is, inside of you, there's a life that's continuously trying to develop, and it's trying to go. But as long as it's in bondage to trauma and pains and emotions and all of those things, it won't develop because you ain't willing to grow. You see what I'm saying? You're not willing to grow your spirit because you are grown in the physical concept. It doesn't mean that you are grown spiritually. It doesn't mean that you're grown emotionally. There's always room to grow within you. That's why you're a storehouse. That's why people need to understand you're a storehouse, because if you understand that you're a storehouse, it's so much stuff within you that can help you develop anything that's not physical, that the spiritual pain can be removed for you. The question is that what you want to do? Is that what you want to, is that how you want to look at yourself in that line, that light? And those are the things you have to ask yourself. I question God to get more understanding. Like, God, what am I supposed to do to learn from this? And that's what I'm saying. That's what they would call the spiritual eye, the third eye, right? And that just means that there's so much that's inside of you that you need to develop, right? Because if you hit a certain age in life, your body's not going to grow, right? Your body not going to grow, but they say your ear's still going to grow. Certain parts of your body going to grow, but your entirety of your body is not going to grow, right? But that's not the same in the spirit. In the spirit, you can grow until it's no longer existing in that body. It's no longer in that temple. That's why they say you are the church. Excuse me, your spirit is going to move on. And a lot of people say they even when people say, what, I can hear my ancestors. Are you hearing your ancestor in spirit, or are you hearing them in the physical? These are the things that you must understand, because if you doing listen, my grandmother had the greatest, purest heart in the world, right? And I understood, her husband her husband died uh in the early 80s. She lived to be 2017. For 30 some odd years, she did not present herself to another man, even though she had the right to. Why? Because her spirit told her, this is not what I want you to be. I want you to be the example of what you need to be for your family. And that is a high respect. That's the one thing that I always cherished about her, because her spirit was always in the right place. She always seeked an answer in her spirit, whether it was just singing in a choir or handing out food to those that don't have it. You know what I mean? I know that was something that was within her to allow her to do that, even though she had the emotional loss of losing her husband, the emotional loss of losing her daughter after her husband, the emotional thought of losing her grandson before, like she had to bury all those people. But in her spirit, it told her to live. And even you could see the trauma come in because, you know, in my Lisa J, good afternoon. In my thought process, I think when you have so much trauma, it affects your mind. I think that's where dementia, Alzheimer's coming because you're trying to block that. So if you're trying to block that in the physical, just imagine what you're trying to block in the spiritual, right? But her spirit was still the same, even in her state of dementia, even in her state of Alzheimer's, she still was giving, hey, you can have this. I don't know who you are, but you can have this. And I'm like, oh my God, this is my grandmother still being the spiritual person, even though she don't have a clue of who she is physically. She still has that spiritual aspect to like, you know what? Take this. I don't remember you. Oh, you wait a minute. I tell her my name. Oh my God, it's you. Where's your mother? All right, well, take this to your mother. Tell your mother I'm okay. And I'm like, that was an emotional pain for me, but it was a spiritual, like it was a spiritual awakening for me at the same time. Like you still doing this at the age of 85 and 86 and 87, you still being the person that you was when you had the right state of mind. So that was allowed you to say your spirit could still dwell and do the right things even if you're not in your right state of mind. That's an awakening that I got. That's the alarming situation that I received from that whole situation. You still can, your spirit could be on in its joy, in its rightful state or its blessing state, even if you don't have the frame of mind to understand what you're doing. And I'm like, wow, that just made me love her more, right? But the pain was like I don't even like the human side can always affect the spiritual side, right? As much as you don't want to lose that love for that I didn't want to lose that love for, but it was painful to watch it. And still, you still make the attempts to, to gain something out of it. But of course, the physical side is going to block a lot of it. We have to live in reality. We live in different states of life: the spiritual state, the physical state, the emotional state, the mental state. We live in different states. It's the combination of how to keep it together is what's going to get you to where you need to go. You understand? And if you don't have that totality, you're dividing yourself up in different aspects, and that will crush you more than you even realize or know. And those are the things that you have to understand. Realist, what up? What's going on with you? And those are the things that we have to really understand, right? You have to understand that if you need that spiritual healing, you must understand first and foremost what the pain is, right? Because that was like it was torture for me. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm gonna keep it 100, right? It was painful for me to sit there like, yo, she don't even remember me, but she still has that aspect to still give me something, even if she don't know who I am. She don't remember me, but she still wants to give me something. Take this. Listen, you got to go about it this way. You look like you still active or whatever the conversation was. I'm like, how the hell do you remember all this, but you don't remember me? Right? It's always going to be a battle, whether it's the mind versus the spirit against the soul, the spirit against the world. It's always going to be a battle. But if you don't know how to overcome the spiritual pain, it can gobble and destroy you as an individual. And those are the things that like I said, we have to overcome if that's the case, right? And if that is the case, you must know that hold on, Riaz. I'm gonna let you come up right now. Oh wait, my bad. So you have to understand in order for these things to occur, right? It has to be an understanding that you may be in need of the elevation in your spirit. You might. I'm just speaking from the spiritual side because there's a lot of people that doubts things from a spiritual aspect, and this is really for those that have that spiritual pain, not because they don't believe in God, but they just doubt that certain things can overcome and change from the aspect of the spiritual aspect. from the spiritual side of things. So it's just that facet. It's just that manner of a thing. You know what I mean? In order for you to develop it, you must know and understand that you can do things from a spiritual side to where it will open up every other door, the physical side, the emotional side, the mental side, but it starts from within you. And that's why I constantly tell people, if you understand, if you seek in your soul, you will find the spirit seeking your soul, because one is going to lean on the other in order for it to become that powerful force within you. But that's another story for another day as well. So so anybody that wants to have the growth of the spirit, you must seek it inside of yourself. You must identify what is holding you back. Why are you allowing this to overcome everybody? I mean, overcome your spiritual side. Why are you allowing this to be an anchor for your spiritual growth? That pain inside of you, you allow it to not allow you to elevate. These are the questions that you got to ask yourself. And when you start asking the whys, that's what word was saying. Ask the whys. So if you ask the whys in this situation, it'll lead you to the what must you do in order to overcome that situation. So it's like I said, it's a lot. It's a lot to digest, but you must digest it, because in order for you to elevate in any aspect of life, you must accept that there is always room for growth. So you just gotta accept. You gotta accept it for what it is. You know what I mean? Like you know, going back, like I said earlier, it's hard for me. Like I heard word. I, I rewatched his live last night, and it was very easy for me to say, you know what, I understand he's growing physically, right? But he could just be tired of the results of what's going on within him. You know what I mean? So he's gonna do what he needs to do. We ask you,
hmm I hear you.
all right? What's going on?
I'm doing good, bro.
All right. What you want to add to this conversation?
I kind of get you. The basic is kind of deep rooted too, though. Also, though, kind of deep rooted thing when it comes to the spiritual part too, though. So to me, though, basically, it's like for me, I kind of get you on what you're saying, though. For me, like when I just realized, for me, when I was growing up, like basically knowing who I was, though, basically when I grew up, though, I was confused most of my life, though, even though I knew I was Muslim and I know who I was, though, it's just more like a deeper problem. So one problem led to another and it led to more. And then I actually had to realize, though, where did it actually start? So I had to look inside, though.
Yeah. So did you ask yourself what was the root of the problem, or did you just decide to tackle it from all aspects and come to a conclusion on your own?
First, I think probably though start with the root of the problem, then go to the all aspects thing though.
Yeah, like I said, for me, it was like, okay, why am I in this predicament? Why? What am I supposed to do from this situation, in this predicament? You have to figure it out. You have to sit still. You have to be observant. You have to understand that something is speaking to you that's not of the outside of you, but something that's talking within you in order for you to
Mm,
elevate. Did you go through that concept yourself?
yes, basically, and I prayed though as well. So, like like basically, and as a 12-year-old though, I had questions for God though. So many questions though, right? Literally asked God, look, I questioned God though. Literally, God gave me my answers though, and I went for a umrah. So when I went for a pilgrimage though, right? When I went for Umrah, basically, though, on my pilgrimage, though, basically, that's when I started to actually, see my whole life change. I see more of a spiritual level, more deeper. I got the answers that I was needing. I just needed to seek them, though. And then also the pretty much though when I was praying as well, asking about me, pretty much I had to look inside though and tackle in everything basically, So I had to start, okay, look, I had to fix this problem, that problem. So I had to pray though, and that's what God did for me. So I actually had to yes, you're supposed to have faith, but actually faith without works is dead. So because God actually wanted me to actually seek God wanted me to actually do the work and then he'll actually fix it. That's what I'm realizing at 23. Basically, I'm trying to break the chain because the people, that actually have the same problem as me. But the difference is, though, some of them don't realize it until they're older. Some is in denial, some reject it, and basically some don't really address it at all. And I'm not going to be willing to do that because I know if I don't fix it now, if I had children, that will pass over. It's going to become generational trauma, and I don't want generational trauma in my bloodline. So I'm trying to fix that.
Yeah, and even with that concept, right? We have to understand, as my 33 brother, he puts it so simply, right? A generational curse, a generational trauma is learned behavior. So you must figure a way to separate yourself from what you have learned to figure out what is this something new for you to learn. Because if you could remove what you learned and learn something new, the curse, as they would put it, is over. So it's
Mm-hmm.
about what you seek, is what you are insisting on trying to overcome, that gets you to the places that you need to be. And as far as the spiritual aspect, right? If you say, you know what, Allah's gonna punish me because A, B, and C. Now, if you seek Allah and He give you a new direction and you go that way, you have broken it because your spirit is resonating with what the divine is telling you to do, and that's what separates you from a lot of people, because your divine or your spiritual aspect is actually reaching a divine thing, so, or the divine creator. So that's what separates you. It's not that you mixing the divine with the physical, is that you are seeking that spiritual aspect in its totality, which allows you to hear him clearer than you would a regular person. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, bro. Yeah, you're right, though. I actually agree, though, because, yeah, I wouldn't consider it punishment. I consider it more of a divinely test. Life is a test or punishment depending on my deeds. And basically, though, every soul will go through that. So basically, for me, I view it as a test. So it's the biggest test of my life because God actually has so much love for me. He wanted to test me, though. And basically, though, the end of the day, I will go back to Him. So that's why, on a deeper level, it's more like a test though. And I'm being tested. And in order to pass that test, I have to do inside though too. Because the true struggle is not just outside, it's inside.
That is very well spoken, and if people was to really sit down and understand what you just said, I know it will help them, because we live so much outside of ourselves. We live to please so many other people. That means we have to come outside of ourselves. But the joy and the peace that comes from you seeking your spiritual healing, your spiritual functions, it brings a peace that no one could possibly understand. And with that peace, it allows other people, like I said, it illuminates, it shines from within you, and people can see, well, I know he's doing the right thing because he has a peace about him. There's no
Yeah,
he
but to those
don't
people, I
shine all the
appreciate
way.
that, bro. So to the people like that in general, though, I just say, look, I'm just like you, basically. I'm just like you. I'm flawed, just like you. I just basically took the time to actually think about it, self-reflect, basically. I'm not perfect anymore, and I have more to learn now, basically. I'm just like them, but I'm just trying to do what is right and do the right thing on a deeper level. So also, though, also took me as well, though. Literally, the one I was praying to God as well and trying to build connection to the world. Also did those. I studied my, ancestry, my bloodline and stuff like that. Where did I descend from and stuff like that? Because I asked questions about my identity. So okay, look, God help with the faith part, but now seeking the identity part. Who was I and where did I came from? I understood that we're all descended from the prophet and stuff like that, man. But I'm saying on a deeper level, where did I actually belong to though? So when I actually researched my bloodline, no, basically I descended from Persians and stuff like that. And Persians were known for being wise and poetic people. So basically the Sunni Persians though, when I actually studied that, that just got me to realize the truth of my life. Cause I asked God the where did I actually come from? God said just go through your ancestry and you'll actually see your answer.
And that's what you and that's the like I said, if people are listening to understand what you're saying, they will receive what you're saying from a different format, right? If they understand, if you seeking this thing, if you go ahead and do the work of finding the solution of where you come from, not the solution, but finding the place where you come from, they'll get an answer that will be that'll be truthful for them, right? It may not be
Yep.
satisfying for them, but it will be truthful. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't. I could be a divine being going through a human experience, right? That's how word puts that into perspective. Like, wait a minute, you can actually live through your spirit. You can live in the spirit through your body, and when you doing the right things, it'll like I said, it'll broadcast itself. Not to say that you're better than somebody, not to say that you are a person above somebody. It's just what works for you. It makes you the person that can say, you know what, I am at peace with what I'm going through, right? It doesn't mean that you're not going to experience trials and tribulations. It's not going to, it doesn't mean that you're not going to experience downtimes. We don't want you to go through a traumatic situation, but if you understand who you are as far as a spiritual being, you can overcome that trauma and still be the person that you are supposed to be spiritually. You know what I mean? So that's the thing that we have to understand going forward. I think he lost contact or he dropped down or whatever. But those are the things that we have to understand, right? If you can overcome those situations, if you can overcome the fact that the spirit wants to be not in bondage, but it wants to flow freely, and the freeness of that thing will be uh in a way that you going through what you going through. Gary, yes. Mike check. Riaz. Oh, he dropped down again. So those are like I said, these are the things that uh these are the things that you can grow from and learn from. You know what I mean? Like it's just the situation that we all can overcome and actually learn from. We don't have to be in that generational curse. The spiritual side says you can learn something new. There's always room to grow. Why? Because your spirit is not in a box. Is something that can dwell all the time. So if you understand that growth will always come within you.
Yep. I agree. It is though, basically. So yeah, I kind of get you on what you're saying, though, man. Because that's how it is, though, when you're actually growing as well. Because to me, I consider myself high. You know, I'm a high. If what is it? Okay, no, I know I'm high function, but basically, I'm a high vibrational being because we all vibrate on a certain frequency. I was just naturally created on a high frequency. It's just up to me, though, to increase it or not do anything. No, so I do. I'm basically though a high vibrational being. So basically, naturally, I just gotta do the work to keep it going. Basically.
Yeah, I listen. I totally listen. It we just have to understand, man, that growth is not limited to
Yeah.
just the physical side of the thing, right? I know
No,
I
I'm
said this
saying in
earlier.
a spiritual way too, though. I was trying to explain in a spiritual way, not physically. I was talking about in a spiritual sense, though, man. So basically, though, you know. that type of aspect, the spiritual aspect. Basically, it's conscious and subconscious energy too. So basically, when you subconsciously think something, it becomes conscious, and your words, though, basically physically manifest it. So in a spiritual way, though. So basically, if I think positive, I'm gonna actually say I'm positive, and then I become that way. Because basically, though, we're creating the outcome and attracting the energy that we actually are, though, because that's the type of creations that we were made from, you know? We were made to do that.
Yeah, like they have expressions like "I think, therefore I am," or things like that. So if you can put that into a spiritual perspective, you should be able to understand that if my spirit is free, I'm a free spirit. Okay, so what is a free spirit to you, and what is the purpose of it being free? Is it to elevate, to grow, to stay stagnated? What is it, right? It's up to you to understand what it is that your spirit is supposed to be, or what it's supposed to be doing in the first place, right? Just because it's
Hmm.
free, it doesn't mean that it can just be lollygag and just go all over the place. It's a reason why it's free. It was set free for a reason. Hopefully, it's to to elevate, to grow, the more the intake, certain things, and make your spirit become an even more uh, powerful thing in your life. But like I said, a lot of people don't grasp and understand it, and when they don't understand it, it's just words and not actions.
Yeah. So basically, the simple way to put it, Evan, now, so is first just focus on the simple fundamentals first, then you can go deeper. That's what I try to do, you know. I'm learning to do the basics first though. So basically learn how to pray properly. So like when you go to clean your body, right? Learning how to do that properly first. Then you actually find out which direction to pray, right? And also after that, basically you have to, knowing what to say while you're praying as well. Basically though, I'm trying to learn to do it properly. It's okay, look, it's yes, it's the intention though is good, but I'm trying to learn to do it properly because your heart has to be in it too. Because your heart is the gateway too, and basically your heart, it's like to do it the right way. Basically, not like expecting perfection, but at the same time, though, first focus on the simple fundamentals first. Like practice it properly, though. Simple stuff first, though. Then, when you actually understand simple stuff, you can go deep. You can go dig deeper, though, and understand different stuff. Not to what the type of level I'm on, though. Of course, I'm not saying no, I won't go higher. I can go higher though. I just gotta learn the simple stuff first, then go more deeper though. Because that's just how your mind is. You can't go from one point to the other point because then it's like it's blowing your mind because your mind can take so much though. Like literally, you can process so much stuff. It's called sensory overload, because you're overloaded with so much information in your brain from your eyes, though. When you actually look around, you're taking in information, right? And the more and more you look, the more and more light goes in your eyes. It gives you a sensory overload, and you can either one have a meltdown or two, basically, though, you lose focus though on what you're actually doing because you're taking in so much. So that's why to do the simple fundamentals is to break it down step by step, and then it leads to it, though. That's a simple way of putting it.
Yeah, and I don't know if you understand that you are an example of what you're saying. I don't, I think you do know that. I'm just
Yeah.
saying because the fact that you using the words like oversensory, because you know you go through this situation a lot, and it took you time to understand what you was going through. Right? The way you are now, you probably wasn't that way 10 years ago, 15 years ago, because there was no understanding of what the situation was. So as time went along and you began to understand and develop ways to not to combat it but to control it, do you think that's what made you, is that what makes you the person that you are at this particular time?
Yes. And that's what made me the person who I am today. Cause probably long time ago, I could have actually, basically the identity stuff. Anyways, I could have told parents long time ago. It's just that when I was younger, right, as a kid, though, I wasn't conscious enough to actually know what I was going through, though. Cause I
Mm.
was young and I wasn't at that type of level yet, though. And pretty much, though, I could have told. And even if I did show the signs and try and tell, I don't think I understood what I was going through. So once I started to become conscious enough to actually understand what I was going through and going through it deeper, and also taking a pilgrimage or like going to God directly, like doing the steps though in a spiritual way, basically, it made me actually see my whole life change.
Yes, and like I said, and a lot of, like I said, a lot of people don't understand that it takes time to get to that understanding. But because we live in this right now society, like we ain't waiting, we ain't doing none of this, we're not doing none of that. I think that's why a lot of people are in I don't want to say it's, you could say it's a spiritual bondage, but their spirit is in captivity because they're not allowing themselves to develop the awakening or the openness that could be given to them, but they just so busy worrying about what's going on now, and I need my uh, answers now, that they don't have time to have the patience to develop their spiritual awakening.
Yeah, I kind of get you on what you're saying, though, man. Because that's very, and that's just how I can be too. Though, man. That's just how it. Basically, though, what it is, though. Like the people I told you about. Basically, what they do, though, basically they do blue light meditation. What they do is they turn the lights off, and basically they sit in the dark and they contemplate. Basically on God, though, and they think of a blue light going over their head, though. So of course, I know the blue color is the throat chakra type thing. Though. Of course, it can, and also when I pray though as well, when I do my salah, basically, it's like you're unlocking your chakras anyway, because the way you're doing the steps to pray and everything, it's like you're unlocking different parts, different spiritual parts in your body to unlock it though. It's a form of that.
Yeah, I don't disagree with what you're saying. It's up to, it's an individual situation. It's an individual basis of how people come to their conclusions. Right? We understand that everybody's not gonna come to their revelations the way you did and I did. But the goal
Yeah,
is for you to try to come to the resolution, or come to the solution yourself. That's the goal, right? It may not
yeah,
happen the way it happened for me. It may not happen the way it happened for you. But the goal is for people to seek that situation, seek the resolution themselves, so that way, once their why is answered, they could go on and say, what else can I gain from this, or what else can I learn, or what else can I improve on. And then once you start asking the questions of what, you start answering more questions of why, and it'll get you to the place that you need to be, not only spiritually, but even though that's what I'm talking about today, it'll get you to every solution, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically. It'll get you there.
mm-hmm. I
So
agree though.
yeah,
I
so
agree.
yeah, and that's the thing, right? People may not people may not like the conversation that's being had, right? It may not be a popular situation, right? But my thing is, I'm not here to be popular. I'm here to put things out there for someone that they need it. I'm not saying I'm the answer to every question. I'm saying that there are people, I know that there are people that's asking these questions. They want these conversations, right? It may not get the millions of views. I don't care about the views, right? I just want people to understand that there's somebody that's out here having this conversation. So they can't say, well, nobody's having that conversation. Now it's up to them to do the work, right? I'm putting this
Yep.
out there. If it works for you, it works for you. If it doesn't, you say you tried. But what you can't say is that this information is not on display, because it is. You may have to find me. I'm not the most populous person out there, but the information is out there. It's up to you to find it.
Yeah, I kind of feel you on that though, man. That's how it's supposed to be, type thing as well. So it's also, what they go, what they also say though as well. It's also sometimes to, you have to look in the mirror to face the demon within, because it's not always external, it's an internal thing too, though, because it's also in within you, and it's up to you to whether you want to let it consume you or whether you want to overcome it, or that's why you have. So it's like basically looking in the mirror to face whatever's inside you, though. It can either, in a spiritual way, it can either be in a literal sense, or like as a metaphor, to actually metaphorically also just to basically look within inside yourself and actually see what the where the root of the problem is, though, and actually reflect on it, though. Because actually what actually helps, though, as well, though, the spiritual way, is to just sit and reflect on what you actually went through, though, because it actually helps a lot, though. Because of course the question is there, but then also the you just reflect on it, though, and that type of thing, though.
And something that you said in that conversation, that conversation you just had was is very important, right? When you look in the mirror, right? I know a lot of the people are just looking for the reflection outside, but everybody doesn't have that determination or the understanding to see themselves within themselves. So if anybody, if y'all want to have the conversation of, how do I look inside of myself, feel free to, ask somebody, even if it's like I said, if you find somebody comfortable enough to have that conversation, go ahead and have it. But I'm
Mhm.
telling you that you should have it because it's important. Because if it starts from within you, if everything starts from within you, right? Not
Yeah.
because you're in a dark place, it's just because it's everything, like everything starts within. A seed develops within, right? And then it comes out of its shell, so to speak. So that's how we are as human beings. We are in a shell. The body is a shell. It holds your spirit and your soul. You got to make sure that what's coming out of it is what is supposed to come out of it. It's supposed to bear the fruit. Now you have to be careful, because if you put the wrong seed in there, or you let the wrong seed develop, you ain't gonna like what you get. So this is anybody that want to have that conversation, you should have it. Feel free. If you want to have it here, that's cool. I don't really mind. You know what I mean? We can come together. We could sit there and put these thoughts in each other's mind and allow it to develop into whatever it develops to. But you have to be honest and say everything starts from within you. If you don't, then that's a situation you're gonna have to overcome.
Yeah, I agree. So, basically, what they also say as well, though, nobody can change you but you. They can help you and they can guide you, but you yourself it's you yourself who has to simply, take the necessary step to actually be willing to actually, help you, help fix yourself or whatever problem you're going through. And not just in a physical way, basically in a spiritual way too, though. To you yourself who actually has to take the necessary steps to do so. Other people can be there to help and guide you, but it's you who has to actually take the necessary step to actually, do it. Because I know from experience, though, and it actually makes sense, though. Because it's up to me to actually realize, though, this is what it actually is.
I'm listen. I'm just thankful that what I mean. Somebody of understanding can really relate to what's being said, and I know a lot of people just look at you as a young man, but the fact that you are able to pick up what's being put down and put it into usage for yourself, it doesn't make you different. It doesn't make you a foreign person. It just makes you a unique person. So you have to continue to be that unique person that you are going forward.
Okay, appreciate that, though. I'll continue to do so. And also, though, basically, if I'm unsure about that, I just pretty much pray though as well. And I agree with you, I'll do the best as I can, because that's the only thing we can do. We can only do the best as we can, because that's just what humans are, though.
My 33 brother, what up though?
What up, though? Can you hear me?
Yo,
I hear
what up?
you.
I hear you.
How's the audio? Is the audio cool?
Yeah, you good.
Yeah,
Okay, because I'm on these earbuds that I bought for the laptop that don't work for the laptop no more. Because I lost my other earbuds that work for my phone.
Okay.
Because I can't find those no more. So I just came up to disrupt the, I
Why
just
you
came to
want?
disrupt a little bit.
Well, go ahead.
Okay.
No, no, I just did. I'm done.
Yeah, you. That's what you do, though. You know what I mean? But
Okay, it's been yeah.
like I said, I heard what you was saying last night. Um, I'm not gonna say you discouraged. I just think your patience, like you just ready to move on. That's what it sounded like to me, right? Because that's what I heard. Was I wrong in that assessment?
I ain't getting nothing out of it, bro. Like
Right.
when I stop, like I believe in cycles. I'm willing to give, as long as I get something out of it, and I just don't get nothing out of it. Everything has a time period, right? And sometimes I just my life experience. A I be kind of advanced from the times. Like everything that I'm doing, probably about 5 years from now, people appreciate it. It's just always been like that. And it's like, ain't nobody really trying to have these conversations, bro. Not right now. They ain't really trying to have them. Everybody want to be entertained, man. It's more about entertainment now, not actually sitting down talking about solutions. Because even when you see people, they have a good topic or this or that and that. It's not really people seeking solutions. It's just people seeking a bitch and complain about things. And I ain't even about that. I understand there's problems and all this in the world, but I'm aware of it. I see it. There's no point in talking about it unless you'll do something about it. And that's just where I'm at now. I mean, and it always been like this. Like people play catch up and shit. And just like extending myself, I ain't saying I'm better than nobody, but I'm a bad motherfucker, man. I be extending myself to have conversations, and people don't want to really have conversations with me because the intent ain't there. The intent for like solution ain't there. Most people want to have conversations for the content, for the clicks, for the views, the entertainment factor. That's what most people want. They don't really want to sit down because even when you try to sit down and have a conversation with someone, it's more about complaining or they try to put you in a got you moment instead of actually having an honest discourse.
I don't listen. I don't disagree with that. I think if we're being honest, I think that's what made me. You know what? I have this. I have this page. I have this channel. That's what made me go to the sports channel. You know what I mean? Just to show that we can have conversations whenever, wherever, right? But it's up to you to find the openness to even start a conversation, right? Whether it's sports, whether it's these type of conversations, there are places available for you, but it's not just going to fall into your lap. It's not just going to just drop out the sky. You have to go ahead and look for these things. So that's why I mean, like I get the frustration, right? Because I feel it all the time, right? Like these
Yeah.
past 2 weeks, I'm like, yo, I'm not inspired just to have the conversation because people may not want to hear it. But now, like, I just had the conversation because I'm like, you know what? I need to get this off my chest so that way it's out there. And when it's out there, they can do whatever they want, right? And the purpose for me doing it is for literally for me to get it off my chest, right?
Yeah.
I know I'm not better than everybody. I know I'm doing this for a reason, right? The reason is somebody might be out there listening and to grasp and understand what I'm saying. It may help them, it may not help them. But if you put it out there, I can go to sleep at night saying, you know what? I'm the opposite of what people are putting on this app, and I can't no longer say nobody's doing it because I took it upon myself to be that example or that exception to do what I said is not available. So I do it myself, but I definitely get the frustration.
And
Yeah.
I wouldn't even sum it up to frustration. It's like right before you get to like I realize if I keep going the way I go, I will get frustrated because frustration is it'll be frustration is more of a feeling. You know what I'm saying? And it's something that you express. So it's not like frustration. It's just understanding, of oneself. I know I will get frustrated, and then I start doing other, I lean on to doing other things. I start coming on here being upset and angry, and I'm straight, bro. I'd rather watch Chinese dramas, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I mean, it's like I don't know. People like it's so funny. Like, remember I had that one cat come in the chat, like, "Oh, you think you had everything figured out?"
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's not that I got everything figured out. I just got the shit figured out I talked about. That's what I got figured out. That's what I talk about.
Mhm.
And I hear people consistently complain about things, but they don't want a solution for it. They want to complain, and that's fine, because you do need to vent and get shit off your chest. No point in ruminating and holding it in. But that's not where I'm at in life. So it's like I'm not participating in that shit, bro. I'm good. I'd rather.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
You
I every blue moon I might start going live, but I really think I'm gonna start just focusing on because I can say what I need to say in 5-10 minutes and be done with it. That's a short video. You know what
mm.
I'm saying? I can upload that and keep it moving. And I'm studying realist right now the way he do his because I'm thinking like I gotta come on camera, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Man, I can just throw something up there, like a good image, and talk over the image, bro. So I'm working on that now, like how I want to do that. You know.
Okay, that's cool. I try to come though, it's just basically by the time I wake up, you're already done. So I try to come as much as possible. It's
Oh
alright.
no, bro, that's cool, bro.
Okay, yeah, I feel you though. But for me though, Gary, as well, though, when I do the music thing though, when it comes to short type thing though, literally, if I promote real music though, real rap type music though, I know it's not gonna gain the traction I need though. Cause it's post whatever I wanna post, but sometimes I want the traction too. I can be frustrated. Look, I know what the people want, and they don't want me to give them. If it's something real though, basically real rap type music, I literally post it and no traction. But if I post something that is street based though, instant like this, I just know it, man. So I'm just like, look, bro, if this is what you want, this is what you get.
Really said I was literally thinking about coming on camera more ironically enough. I'm like, I don't listen, I don't know, right? Like, I'll give y'all an example. I was in Logical Thinkers. Well, I call her replay. I don't know how the hell I missed her live. What was it, last week? And she was literally sitting there like, "Yo, something like I want to be consistent, but I don't have
Oh yeah, I
the
remember
drive."
though.
And I'm like, sometimes it's just you just if you inspired, just go, right? Like that's what I do literally like right now. Now sports channel is different, right? All I gotta do is talk about whatever sport I'm talking about. We can go over it and whatever happens, happens. That's the way the sports channel flows, right? And for the most part, we stay on topic for the most part until a conversation come up and we just go from there, right? That's the thing,
Mhm.
right? If you are inspired to go ahead and do this thing, this is not to knock you. This is not to discourage you. We are just saying, understand that if you're going to do it, there's going to be some pain, some spiritual pains coming out of this because this could be a trauma that this could set you back from speaking in live person, like speaking in front of people in general, right? This can literally stop you from doing that. You just have to be prepared for whatever comes at you. I think this app, for me, it allows me to do the things that I need to do and it's preparing me for other situations because I don't care what people say. They have to understand that this is real life too. Me having this conversation with you guys, it's real. It's real life. It's
Mhm.
also helping me to prepare myself for anybody that may be a naysayer, right? So this is what it prepares me to do.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to, how would I say, overcome a situation before it happens. That's me though.
Yeah, I feel you
And
though. For me though, I
it's
just continue to grind because I just, I like to do that. I only just take to do 2 to 3 days off, and I just get inspired to keep going, man. That's just what I feel like doing though, bro. you know. And also, though, I
Yeah,
have to balance two places. Though I'm here, and then I'm on TikTok as well. And on my TikTok, though, pretty much I'm doing well for myself. I already monetized there. I'm making it there, you know.
and see, I think is my intent. Like when I come on here, bro, I intend to have conversations with people. And then when I come on here and I'm just talking to myself, it's like, so if I'm gonna talk to myself, I might as well just make, upload content. That's just how I feel. But my intent is to have, dialogue with people so we can have, conversations, exchange ideas and stuff like that. That's what, like, even the topics I talk about. So that's why I said I just got to shift. Like, I don't, like, I'm not discouraged from doing YouTube. It's just the way I'm doing it. But I guarantee you, soon as I just start doing uploads, people gonna be like, "Well, I want to talk to them," and it's like I'm past that now. I don't really want to talk to people no more. Like
Mhm.
I said what I said and keep it moving. I'm not interested in having a
Mm,
conversation. I just get my
that's
point of view
really
and keep it moving, bro.
okay. I understand. For me, though, I don't
Like all
stream.
that building and networking and shit. I'm straight. We'll do that. I can do that on the back end now. I'm not trying to, like, you ain't about to hear me say it. I'm building with nobody no more. I'm not trying to develop. No, I'm gonna just make content and leave it at that and keep it moving.
Okay.
Like
For me, though.
because
Okay. I don't stream though. I just basically focus on uploads though. I do one video each week though, cause it's really tiring though. Basically, for me, it's really tiring. That's why I just focus on uploading one video each week, and I just do the short. Shorts just allow me to be more creative.
See, now this conversation is helping, right? Because like as we speaking, real this is like, man, I went back and forth so many times about possible ideas, and this like I understand. Like y'all always hear me say one could reach 1,000. Like this could be helping somebody. So my intent is being reached, right? So as long as I'm doing the things that I feel my intent is doing, I don't get discouraged. But it can be discouraging when you don't get the feedback. This is what Word is saying. If he's not getting the feedback, if he's trying to have conversations with people for him to get somebody to elevate themselves and possibly it elevates him. If he's not getting it, that's understandable, and that's the thing that we have to figure out in totality. How do we make ourselves make sense in not in the eyes of people, but make sense to ourselves, right? Because if he feels like this is a waste of his time, he's gonna stop. And the information that he has is very useful. It's very vital. To me, it's important, and it's not because I rock with him. That's how we came together in the first place. So
Right.
it it's like I said, I I feel like I'm doing what my intent is, and so as long as that matters, as long as that's happening, I just have to keep myself inspired. That's not how he
and
feels, and that's not
Yeah,
that's
I
not
feel
how he
you though.
feels. So that's okay, right? So we I don't have a problem with what he's saying.
Yeah, I
like
kind of
even
give you on
like
Come on,
my
Riaz.
I
Come
was
side.
on,
I
Riaz.
was
Hold on.
listening to like I was listening to y'all talk earlier. This was my whole intent. Like when I hit YouTube, like people said stuff, and I wanted to help clarify things for people. Especially when you're talking about like when people start talking about spirituality. Like Ria said, I'm a high vibrational person. Well, what is that? How does high vibrational look? Like what is that? Like people say it a lot is a cliche. Everybody, I'm high vibing or I want you. You're low vibration. What is that? Like, how does that look? Most people can't answer that because it's something that they just say.
Okay. To me, though, just basically the type of frequency, that I vibrate, though, because, like, we're on a certain type of frequency spiritually. So I just see myself on a certain type of frequency that I was created for. It's just for me to put in more work to keep it going.
But see, that's what I'm saying. You saying frequency. What does that look like? Like you're saying something, but how do you show that? Like I'm a high vibration. What does that frequency consist of? What is that frequency? This is why I'm here, because people say things and it feel good. You know what I'm saying? But how do you do it?
Okay. You have
Do
a
do you
point.
know what do you when people even in the spirituality aspect, do you know what frequency is? You when people say that, do you know what that is? That energy, there's a formula for it. You know what that is? To be a high vibrational person, this is what I do. I simplify things. You're an emotionally in tune person. That frequency is energy in motion. Emotions, literally, the E is an abbreviation for energy and in motion, emotion. It's literally energy and motion. So someone high vibrational, the way it look is like they're emotionally tuned. They feel it's all about how you feel and your feelings creating the actions to replicate or not replicate, but to express. Your inside is expressing on the outside. So to be a high vibrational person is to be emotionally in tune. It's to feel good, to do good. Feel good, to think good, to do good. Feel, think, do. You in tune on three aspects. A high vibrational person ain't gonna be sitting there crying, ain't gonna be depressed, ain't gonna be angry. That's not high vibration, is it? What is high vibration? You go when I asked you what high vibration is, the only thing you can use to tell me that is emotions. It's things that people do. Laugh and smile and feel good about themselves, confident. All this is energy and motion. So, I mean, it's cool to say I'm a high vibrational person, but what is that? What it do? How do you do it? And that's what most people don't know. Especially like all these spiritual concepts is good. Like the metaphysics, the whole aspect is about metaphysics is the unseen to the seen. That's what metaphysics is the unseen. Things that exist, we just can't see it. I can explain that very well because I'm a practitioner. Like I do this shit for real.
Okay, practitioner. So
But
Okay.
so if I
people don't.
simplify, so if I
My bad. Go
simplify
ahead.
what you just saying, well, so if I simplify, is this the best way to simplify it? So in order for you to be high frequency, you must be emotionally intelligent.
Yeah, you can even take that out because then that becomes a concept that might not be a, people might feel they're not be able to obtain. That's why I said in tune. It's just knowing your emotions, man. Really experiencing your emotion. Like people can say, "I'm happy," right? You ask them why they're happy. Well, it's a good day. They can't really explain why they're happy, and it'd be so simple, but they can't explain it because they're not emotionally in tune. They just they um the emotion is experienced them. They not experiencing the emotion. I guess that's the best way to say it.
Okay.
It's like it's happening, but they're not aware of why. Most people don't know why they're happy. Most people get sad, don't know why they sad. They can't explain it, and it'd be so simple.
Now I told y'all before he came up here, this is the why guy, and he just explaining why he's the why guy because there's always something that he's going to uh, not a, he's going to allow you to ask yourself these questions. Why, right? Because if you ask the other W's, the what's, the you're not going. He feels like you're not going to get to the answer you need to get to. Is specifically why are you doing it? Because it's going to make you look within yourself to understand why you are seeking the answers that you're seeking. You can only do that with the why aspect. Is
Like
that safe
like
to say? Word?
like some. Let me ask both of y'all something simple. Why do you experience happiness? Like what about any situation that actually makes you happy? Why do you feel that sensation?
You want to go first, Riaz?
Nah, you go first. Though. I'll wait.
Oh, for me, the reason why I let me see how if I can say this right. The experience of the happy sense or the joy sense is something that for me I get the joy if I'm contributing or helping somebody, right? Because in order for me to, I
But
know people
why?
like
Now see why do you get joy out of that? See, this is what I'm
I
gonna
get
show
I
you.
get
It's a
to
very
hold on
simple.
all right
It's simple. So
go
you
ahead.
you you're explaining what gives you that feeling. I'm asking you why do you experience that feeling? Even if you get what you get,
the
why do you
reason
experience?
the reason why
Yeah,
I get the experience is because I am Naga, what's going on with you? I get the experience of contributing to helping to add to someone. That's why I get the joy because I'm doing
But
something that's selfless and
but
that's
why
what
why is
brings me joy
why are you servicing people making you happy?
because I'm doing something that I I love to do,
It's
right?
simpler than that, bro. It's simpler than that. Let me tell you why. No matter what you say, it's gonna always come back to this because you're getting something you desire.
Right. I
Even
get
if
something
it's
that
you
I
make
love, right?
it's just you're reaching as a point of ecstasy. It's an achievement.
Right.
It's something that was wanted and now is received. So the same reason you get happy, it'd be the same reason you be sad, bro.
Right, of
Okay.
course.
And we
It's the
complicate
opposite.
things.
Yeah.
We say it's the situation. It's
Right.
not the situation. It's not literally what you're doing, what you obtain. None of that matters, bro. What it is you receive something. You achieve something that desire. I wanted this and I got it. It was
Yeah.
something that was desired.
That
No
makes
matter
sense.
if it was helping somebody, doing something for somebody, receiving something, it was
You
something. But
you
then
you
you got to ask yourself, why does that even make you happy? Why is achieving a goal? Why does that release the emotion of happiness instead of sadness? Why? I mean,
well
to really get down to
Okay.
the core, because
hmm
this is this is what like we can sit back and probably have another hour conversation on that. But what it sums down to
we'll do
is
that tomorrow.
energy.
Okay.
Is
So probably
energy.
that's a question to me, so I probably could give my answer to that.
Go ahead.
Okay, my answer to that, to what makes me happy though, is true happiness to me though is actually
No,
pleasing
no,
my
no,
creator.
no, no. Not what makes you happy. Why do you feel the
Why
emotion
do
of
I?
happiness?
Oh,
Why
why
do
do
you
I
even
feel?
feel that? Yeah,
Why
not
do
what
I feel
makes
that?
you happy. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What makes me feel happy though is being created though and being sent to this world though, because the creator basically blessed me with a purpose though to live though, and knowing what I live for and having the faith though. That's what makes me, happy. That what makes me feel happy though, and also the pleasing my creator, because
Well, why?
knowing.
Okay, now why does that make you feel happy?
Because it's deeper than that though, and knowing there's something beyond, somebody who made me, and knowing there's something beyond myself though and beyond this world though, so that's why.
But okay, now why does that give you the feeling of happiness?
Gives me the feeling of happiness because the creator, because I'm being blessed though, and the blessings that I receive, and this it's
It's
deeper
it.
than that.
But you got to keep asking yourself that question till you get to the simple answer. And the simple answer is because you achieve something you desire. No matter what it is, no matter if it's
Yeah,
a
I agree
connection
with
with
that.
God, no matter what it is because you achieve. Now, even when you act, this is how you delineate, or this is how you define your why you do things and why you go about things. Because if you can't go into deep thought of why something make you happy, you'll realize it's not really making me happy. It's not that. Like when people say, like I tell some people, like even when I told a couple people who I was coaching, like you're not in love with the person you're with. You're in love with the idea you're with a person.
hmm
Oh,
That's what
okay.
it is. You're not in love with the person you're with. That's why you get so angry and mad when they do other things. You're in love with the idea, of what the experience could bring. You being with another person and a good relationship.
Mm.
That's why people go so hard. They get this idea, and then when they get it and they
You're
start
trying to reach your
experiencing
goal.
it,
Yeah.
yeah, you like, okay, this is it. But then slot other stuff start happening, and instead of defaulting because like, okay, I had this idea of being with somebody, and it made me feel good, but now I'm with somebody and it's not feeling good. So that'll give you the clue I'm with the wrong person. But if you got a misunderstanding that you're in love with this person instead of the idea. That's why most people stick with the bullshit.
Mm.
That's why they stick with the
Mm,
bullshit because they're in love with the idea and mistaking it for the person.
We're gonna need you to come on in the daytime. That's what we need you to do.
yeah,
That's the goal. That's the goal.
I'll
That's the goal
try
I'm
to
working on.
come there, though,
I don't
man.
care if I come to. I got to come to the D and
Yeah.
babysit. We gonna get your ass on daytime. That's
Mhm.
what we need. That's what we need to do. Because like even in this last 10 minutes, you just simplified everything I spoke about the
Yeah.
hour before. And like I said, you trying to me trying to reach people the way I do and the way you reach them, it matches, it coexists. It's possible. It will, and there's no whys behind it. It's going to do it because it's your desire and my desire is the same, right? And
Mhm.
it doesn't it for me, like, people be thinking I play like, nah, I need you around. Like, no, I really do, because we work well together. When we work well together,
Yeah.
I know it's not even a thought. I know that the goal could be reached. We just have to brainstorm of how to get it to where everybody could receive it. And that's the reason why we're doing it, is because our desire is for people to grasp and understand it. That's the desire. That's our goal. That's been our goal since we've been rocking together. So we just have to figure out why. And even the subject of spiritual pains, that's why you have to understand why you need to get over the pain, because there's something. If it's something you desire, 9 times out of 10 you will get there, because the desire can turn into a need, and the necessity of you overturning that pain into a joy, you will get it. And that's basically what we're saying here in general. Even though we're speaking from different aspects and different avenues, we're coming to the same boulevard, the boulevard of overcoming the whys of the pains that we're going through. If we overcome that, we could succeed and finding joy in whatever we do. It becomes our desire, our
Oh,
goal. That's where it comes to.
Mm-hmm.
oh, for sure, realist. I just seen the comment. My phone was in my pocket. My bad.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's going to take the patience
Mm.
for people to get to where they need to get to, right? And once that's another reason why that's a desire. We have to understand their desire is going to take a little bit longer than ours. That's why patience is a necessity. That's why it's a virtue. Everybody doesn't
Hold
have it.
on, bro.
You know what
Let
I'm
Oh,
me
saying?
show
okay.
you this.
You have a point, though, man.
I got it unplugged, bro.
Okay. Hey, but really, I feel you, bro. Maybe I probably need to start doing
This
a new
little rocking
content stuff,
chair.
man.
I'm in my garage, bro. Don't mind me.
Okay,
But this little rocking chair with
okay,
the
bro.
heated seat.
Okay.
I got my little blower. That's why the phone was in my
I
pocket. I'm sitting
I
here
do want
smoking,
some good
chilling, bro.
stuff, but wait, really, I feel you though about being on cam though, bro. I haven't been doing vids with, I haven't been on cam in a long time, probably like 2 years or something. I haven't been on cam in a long time, so I feel you on that, man. Being on cam though, on my own thing though. Maybe I probably need to start adding that to my newer style or something like that though. Mostly I just talk over clips that are fun, and that's just what I do, man. Probably might need to add.
So we coming down to the last 5 minutes of the show. Would you guys like to end? How would you like to end the segment?
Probably for me,
Your last
the
words.
thing. Okay, my last word though is in a simple way. Though is basically first
Dang, nigga.
understand the simple. Oh, who wants to go first? Shall I go first, please? Okay, so what I was gonna say that basically first understand the simple fundamentals though of what you believe or practice first though, and then when you actually understand that, then slowly go deeper. And also to everyone else though, for real, last thing to God say though is everyone please leave a like, a comment, share, connect to the host, connect to everybody in the panel and the chat too though, including me though, and also help us grow inshallah. And basically, yeah, man, check out what I posted today and check out whatever content Red or Gary got to post on. And also check out Realist too, man. They're talented here and help us spread that, man.
Appreciate you, Riaz. Shout out to young Riaz. Y'all find this page. Look him up. Y'all see his content. Y'all see the genuineness of his heart. Y'all link up and y'all subscribe to him. Check him out, y'all. Go ahead,
Thank
word.
you. Appreciate that.
Man, you know what I always say, bro. Care about how you feel, man. That's what it start with. That's what it end with. Care about how you feel, man. You start doing other shit like learning, growing, developing, maturing. You start doing that if you care about how you feel in a positive way. Being more intentional. But yeah, man. Y'all be smooth, bro.
Shout out to my 33 brother word. Y'all check him out, subscribe to him, And I'm gonna end this way, right? I know we on the same channel, we be on the same wavelength, you know. His opportunity is he gets to come on at night because he has a life and things like that. But his goal is still the same. His spirit is in the right place. His soul and his joy is in the right place. But at the same time, what he can't do, I try to do in the morning. But sometimes you have to be inspired to do this. I have to have the freedom to do this. I have to have the inspiration to do this, and it can't happen if I'm on a spiritual pain. If I'm going through a spiritual pain. So, like he just said earlier, we're gonna sum it up like this: we overcome the spiritual pain by doing the desire of finding the joy that lives within us, and once we do that, we can overcome any and everything, whether it's spiritual, physical, emotionally, or mentally. So y'all just keep y'all take this conversation for what it is. It's the information. Y'all apply it. If it applies, let it work for you. If it doesn't, you can say you tried. So with that being said, I appreciate everybody being here, whether it's realist, whether it's Naga. Shout out to the panelists, Riaz and the Word. Shout out to Logical Thinker. Shout out to the 9%, BDB and Santina. Shout out to Lisa. Shout out to everybody that came through today. With that being said, I appreciate everybody showing up. I hope this helps. I hope it elevates. But more importantly, I hope it does something for you and not against you. I'll see y'all next time. I'm out.